Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you game 1 in a set between WarchiefRich and ShaDai. Game 1 taking place here on Amazonia. We see WarchiefRich spawning as the red night elf under the name Huntress shaped. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom left, we see ShaDai spawning as the purple undead Machiavelli over here on the bottom left. Now, I am expecting the classic... Wait, what is... Let's take a look at this first of all. We see that there is a crypt and a ziggurat down. No Ultra of Darkness yet. We'll wait and see if we see an early graveyard. And if it is going to be an early graveyard, that means most likely we'll be looking at Death Knight with Crypt Fiends. Meanwhile, over here on the top right, we see the Night Elf player already going that Altar of Elders, Ancient of War in position to do some very, very strong Demon Hunter harassing or creeping with that Ancient of War, trying to take these units down and get to level 3. Let's take a look. There is that Altar of Darkness. It is a bit delayed, and we'll see whether or not this means... Well, the timing does not normally mean that he's going to be going for a Tavern Hero. Normally, you would delay that Altar of Darkness even further if you're going for a Tavern Hero. We'll see what comes of this here, as we still don't have a graveyard, and instead placing down more ziggurats. There is that Demon Hunter being trained up. Archer should be trained up as well. And as soon as that Demon Hunter pops on out of there, we should be expecting a little bit of a level advantage for WarchiefRich, at least in the opening segments. Meanwhile, you see that a Wisp is coming through. There is a Death Knight being trained, and we are getting up a Tomb of Relics, but still the timing on that Altar of Darkness was a little bit later than normal. Perhaps Machiavelli, ShaDai really wanted to go for that Undead strategy with the Death Knight and Unholy Aura and bring all of those units across the map. That is relatively strong against a Demon Hunter who is doing this Ancient of War creep as we're looking at here. The Ancient of War creep, because he is uprooted, pretty much means that that Ancient of War is not training up any heroes. And by not training up any heroes, not training up any units, what that ultimately means is that those archers are going to be low in number compared to the ghouls that will already be out. There's that Tomb of Relics. It will be coming out in just a moment. The Death Knight coming out about the 2-minute 30-second mark, and it looks like the Undead will be bringing the Rod of Necromancy, and we'll see if he goes for Death Coil or Unholy Aura. Demon Hunter already sitting at level 1, should get to level 2 here pretty quickly. It looks like that Gauntlets of Ogre Strength was actually taken out, that creep was actually taken out by the Ancient of War and not that Archer, hence the lack of level 2 on this Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter now gets to level 2, has to be very careful though, as the Demon Hunter is going up against multiple units here. Now, you did see the Demon Hunter go for that mana burn. He most likely teched evasion as well. There is that miss, confirming it. So we are not going to see immolation. That does mean that the Demon Hunter has to be relatively careful when going up against all of these ghouls, as the ghouls will end up getting a very easy surround onto that Demon Hunter, since that Demon Hunter does not have Boots of Speed yet. Now, importantly though, the Demon Hunter is kind of dealing a little bit of damage onto that Death Knight. The Death Knight really doesn't need any of its mana burned though. There is no real way for that Death Knight to spend any mana, so all it is a way to deal 50 damage per time there, as the units are now running back once more. Death Knight unable to get off a Death Coil on any of these units, as the Archer now starting to do a little bit of picking apart as well. There goes a Ghoul. That final shot coming in from that Renegade Wizard. No experience for that Demon Hunter. All right, let's come back around. Are we going to perhaps see a little bit more damage coming through? The Renegade Wizard down to 91 hit points and growing steadily. Let's take a look at that. There's the mana burn and nothing really there. Ring of Protection +2 as the Demon Hunter now trying to get away. It looks like he may not be able to do exactly that. Down to 25 hit points, and he gets taken down there. The Death Knight getting the final shot. Level 2 Demon Hunter falls, and ShaDai now in a very comfortable position as he may get to level 2 here. Nope, that Wisp is going to be able to back off in time, and the Death Knight still trying to chase after some units here. The Unholy Aura is going to help to take down that Archer, except the Archers are doing a little bit of pathing right there as well. Death Knight sitting at level 1 still, not able to get off a Death Coil, but the damage is done as Huntress shaped or WarchiefRich being forced to retrain up and resurrect that Demon Hunter. There's an Ancient of Wonder. There's a Hunter's Hall now coming into play as well. We may be looking at some Dryads And Dryads is the natural transition after you see your opponent get this many ghouls. The Dryads with their slow poison cause a lot of problems, and it forces your opponent to go into Crypt Fiends. Now, once your opponent goes into Crypt Fiends, you can then start training bears, since the Ancient of Lore does train those Druids of the Claw. So we may end up having your classic Dryad bears up against Crypt Fiends and Destroyers. Only time will tell if the game will actually go that long, or perhaps the Undead will be able to make something happen in the early stages with a relatively large army of ghouls and get some damage in. Alright, you can take a look. Archers now on the run here. Demon Hunter is right there. There is a mana burn, and the Death Knight, pretty much already out of mana, will be forced to back off here. If the Demon Hunter gets off one more mana burn, things are pretty much going to go from bad to worse very, very quickly. Alright, a nice slant pattern there, but still not enough. A sea of ghouls unable to surround one lone Demon Hunter there, as the Demon Hunter now looking to get off another mana burn onto that Death Knight. No, the Death Knight ended up getting off the Death Coil first, so that was a big deal, as the Demon Hunter now only did 6 damage, I believe, off of that there, as the Wisp and all of these ghouls are trying to focus down the archers and the remaining units. There's Dust of Appearance to be used, all the units taking a lot of damage, and I can't believe ShaDai is actually trying to venture forth and attack inside a Night Elf base. With so many small ghouls, the Tree of Eternity, the Ancient of Wonders, all of those units joining in on the fight to try and take down unit after unit. It looks as though, wow, a beautiful heal there by the one archer there, as the ghouls are now just running in between all of these buildings, constantly getting attacked and taking damage. Demon Hunter now trying to chase back this Death Knight again. The Demon Hunter, I gotta believe, is winning this fight here, even though he is constantly being forced to run around with these archers. The additional damage from the Ancient of Wonders really causing some problems, and there you have it, as the Death Knight, currently sitting at 56 mana, is he going to actually be able to get... no, he's not going to be able to get a unit, and the Demon Hunter at level 2 allowing the Death Knight to escape with 65 mana and 127 hit points. Back off to the north. Demon Hunter still sitting at level 2, Staff of Preservation, saving some early units, but I don't really see a trend. Oh, there we go. There are those Dryads that we were talking about, or I was talking about. Meanwhile, if you take a look at the Undead, he is already taking the Black Citadel, getting the Lich, and already has that Slaughterhouse open. There's that transition into Crypt Fiends that I mentioned earlier, and the question is the Undead really going to be able to get a good number... a good number of Destroyers out? If a good number of Destroyers and Crypt Fiends are out on the field, the sheer focus fire of those two units is generally enough to counter what the Night Elf is trying to do. The problem is getting up to that critical point. Undead players having a difficult time trying to expand or do much of anything else here, as the Death Knight now sitting at 240 hit points and dropping, but going to be able to finish off this creep camp here. Alright, Panda doing a great job getting a little bit more experience. Panda alongside a level 3 Demon Hunter now. That level 3 Demon Hunter with that 100-point mana burn is going to cause an absolute nightmare for the Undead army, as you see a Kobold Tunneler giving the Panda level 2. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter still wandering around here, does get a quick spot on a Skeletal Minion, and now deciding to back off. He knows that his opponent was just sitting inside his base for a little while, so he has the opportunity and time to go after this creep camp here. Alright, going after the Sasquatch, could easily get a breath of fire off onto all of these units, take them down. Meanwhile, Druid of the Claw is also out on the field, and 2 of them, Rejuvenation, pretty much imminent, or will be coming in momentarily, but he wants that Panda to take a little bit more damage before doing exactly that. Skeletal Minion catching this army here. The Panda just decides to back off, not really needing to worry about those units, as the Death Knight and the Lich sitting at level 2, level 1, with an Orb of Corruption, is still an army to be afraid of. As long as the Demon Hunter can shut down the mana of the Lich and that Death Knight, this fight will completely be one-sided. But if the Night Elf is unable to slow down the Undead heroes, those Undead heroes with those powerful nukes and AoE damage off the Frost Nova can really cause a nightmare. Alright, Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch, Lich. The Undead army now has 3 heroes in play. Naga Sea Witch still sitting at level 1. Not able to do very much of anything. Alright. Demon Hunter getting additional damage from a roar here. Gonna go ahead and take down the rest of the remaining units. There they go. Are we gonna look at a wisp now entangling that gold mine or setting up a tree of life? No, we are not. 49 over 50 for the Night Elf army. Meanwhile, we're looking at 47 over 50 for the Undead army. And it may just come down to upgrades and tech for who will end up winning this fight. Ghouls not upgraded. Crypt Fiends are not upgraded. Let's take a look at this. Druids of the Claw are upgraded, but they are upgraded just to their mastery training, not actual any weapons damage upgrade. Same thing with the Dryads and those archers. Nothing really to report there, as the Druids of the Claw now forcing their way back down. Alright, Demon Hunter quickly takes a Frost Nova. Lich now in position here. Are we going to be getting in some of that extra damage, that rejuvenation? Another mana burn onto that Lich, and so much damage to be had. There is a Breath of Fire. If you can actually take down Destroyer, that would have been a big deal, but no, does not take it down. Demon Hunter just going to clean up the rest of this creep camp here, and we'll have to settle for exactly that. Bears now off to the north. Dryads are all in position. We are looking at a bit of a regroup here, as we also have the sentry wards keeping track of where the Undead army is not. Alright, let's take a look back over here. The Destroyer is now going to clear out the Renegade Wizard creep camp. And this may be exactly what the Undead army needed. A very strong late game creep in order to make up some of that level difference. And that's what we're looking at now. That Demon Hunter seeing that level 3. Are we going to see a Breath of Fire? Yes, we do. How much damage was done, as the units are now simply on the run. All of those units in the backfield. Lich falls at level 2. Death Knight still seeing at level 3. And there is the GG. Game number 1 in this series goes to WarchiefRich. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.